So it's no surprise that I like to create OCs. Not only do I have videos of redesigning an old OC and going through my old art, but every speed paint on this channel has been art of my OCs. Every single one. That's right, if you watch any video on this channel, including this one, I've secretly made you look at them. Gotcha. But anyway, something that I like to do every once in a while is go through my old OCs. Sometimes it's to remake them, sometimes to take parts of their designs or stories that I liked and reinvent them into brand new OCs, and sometimes it's to laugh at how weird and bad they were. And today we're here to do the third one. Well, I think I'm more of a seasoned OC creator now. Whoa, I had some real winners back in the day. Let's get into it. I'm not going to cover Lemon Square in this video because at this point we've heard enough about her. Let's move on to someone else. If you're new here and have never heard of Lemon Square, I'll leave a video in the cards and you can, meet her. But let's talk about some other faces in this video. So aside from Lemon, I actually had a little trio of main Sonic OCs. One of the ones in the trio was a Cedrium, the species that Cosmo is in Sonic X, and her name was Lilifenia. I kid you not, sometimes when I made new OCs as a kid, I would just straight up type random letters and whatever came up was the name. So that's how Lilifenia came to be. But I mainly just called her Lily anyway. I actually have about 99% of my old things saved, so I have the original character information that I wrote on Lily, and I'd like to read that for you now. Let's see, her name is Lilifenia, her nickname is Lily, and she was 13 years old when I made her. Her personality has a few traits listed. It says she's hyper, friendly, and stalkerish with the question mark after it. Alright then. Her family is listed as a mother named Selin, which is also another made-up name, an unnamed father, and a sister named Bella, and in parentheses it says she's deceased. I have no idea what was with me in giving my OCs dead sisters. First Angela, and now Bella. But that's not the best part here. The best part is a section of info labeled as miscellaneous info, and I'll read to you word for word what it says. It says, Lily considers herself Lemon's best friend, and is extremely hyper. Her older sister Bella was murdered. Her mom is very annoying, and her dad left because of her annoying mother. She and Zach, who was another part of the trio, don't get along very well, and she loves taking pictures of people and putting them on the internet. And, like Zach, she can't sing very well. Tell me how I wrote this, and yet I'm still sitting here with so many questions. I think what's so funny to me is how casually all of that was written. Like, oh yeah, her best friend is Lemon, she's really energetic, her sister was murdered in a horrific crime, she can't sing very well. Like, what is going on here? I'll have you know I never explained this any further either. I never mentioned the situation or Bella ever again. And then later on I would start saying that Lily was an only child and never even had a sister. The mother part is also really funny to me, because this was also never explained. So like, imagine you're married and one day your spouse just tells you that you're really annoying and just straight up leaves you. I remember a big character beat that always stuck with her was the fact that I said she had insomnia and couldn't sleep at night. And you know what, girl, if all that nonsense happened to me, I wouldn't be able to sleep either. Moving on, I mentioned there was a trio of main OCs. The last one was named Zach, and he was a, quote, Rox, which was a wolf, rabbit, and fox hybrid. I don't understand what the point of having both a fox and wolf in there was, but alright. And actually, on the same deviation where I wrote Lily's info, I also wrote Zach's. So I would like to read it to you now, as I think it's just as good. So I have his name listed as Zach, but his, quote, real name is listed as Zachary. I think we just call that a nickname, but alright. He was 12 years old, and his family is listed as Natlina the Wox, which I'm assuming is a wolf and a fox, but she was his mom. He had a father named Michael the Rabbit, a pet dog named Crescent, and I also listed his future child in here. Great, I guess she counts too. For his personality I had written he was, quote, a bit aggressive on the outside, but on the inside he's a really nice guy. You know what? Great, fine. I love the trope of a character who's intimidating and scary, but they're actually a big teddy bear. Great. What's really good here, though, is the miscellaneous info I have listed, which I will now read for you, word for word. He gets easily irritated. When he was younger, he was almost killed. His father's fighting in some war, ... in some place, and his mother has slight mental issues, but she's extremely nice and doesn't lose her temper. He's a pretty good dancer, and he can't sing to save his or his friends' lives, and just in case you couldn't figure out what that meant, I had in parentheses, aka he's a really bad singer. Where do I start? Did the person who murdered Bella from the story also try to murder Zach? Because what on God's green earth is going on here? Like, why did I just drop some earth-shattering fact and then never explain it any further? The part about his mom is also super funny to me, because I can also be described as a person with, quote, slight mental issues. So it's like the mom myself insert or what? What's going on here? At least we can give the dad the credit for not leaving the mom this time. Or maybe he's too busy fighting in the mystery war to file for divorce. We may never know. Oh, here's a great one. Let's talk about Lilithenia the Fairy Tale Cox. That was her name. Remember that thing I said about how I would just type down random letters and that would be the name? That's how I got Lilithenia's name, and I also called her Lily, but I spelled it differently because I guess I hated myself. Now, what's a quote fairy tale cox, you might ask? Well, the cox part was supposed to be a cat and a fox, and now let me explain the fairy tale part. Her whole thing was that she lived in a fairy tale book. Like, I remember creating her specifically because my friends and I were doing this role play where our OCs were stuck into a storybook, into a specific fairy tale. And you know what? Okay, that's kind of odd, but I feel like the idea has some kind of potential, right? But wait, there's more. The characters found Lilithenia in a dungeon. Why was she in a dungeon? We'll get to that part later. But from there, she tells them about herself, and I wrote it down. And I still have it. So let's read it. Like I said, her name is Lilithenia, her species is the quote, fairy tale cox, and she was 19 years old because I thought that was a super adult age at the time. Her birthday was written as classified for some reason, so I had no idea what it was, but then the next line I wrote she's a Gemini, so what was the point of having the actual day classified? But here's where it gets good. Under family it says, quote, well, she's the youngest out of 25 kids. Huh? What? 25 kids? That's all I said about it too. Like, did I not realize I was writing the most outlandish garbage that was made even worse by not explaining it? Clearly not, because I kept doing it. Now let's get into the best part. The backstory. Word for word, it reads, Lilithenia was born in a medieval fairy tale where she had to relive the story over and over and over again. For food, she had salmonella chicken, and she was often beaten with yardsticks because that was the entertainment. In the story, she had to slap the king with one of the salmonella chickens and be thrown in the dungeon. When some characters were sucked into the story, they discovered Lilithenia was trapped in the dungeon. And soon the group finished the story, and when they all got sucked out of the book, so did Lily. The end. Great. What is this? Bro, she was beaten with yardsticks for entertainment? Who was hitting her with the yardsticks? The other 24 kids? Where were they getting them from? Was the yardstick even invented yet? Would they do this all day? Would it be like, hey bro, Netflix still hasn't been invented yet, so let's go hit Lily with the stick? I can't with this. This is nonsense. What is going on? The salmonella chicken thing is also absolutely absurd and it's killing me. I don't have this written down, but if I dig back into the dark crevices of my brain, I think I can remember the chicken had salmonella because it was raw. So I don't get why they just didn't cook it. They clearly had yardsticks, so if they needed wood for fire, they could have used those. I also know for a fact the chicken she had to hit the king with was a whole raw chicken. And you know what? Maybe she had the right idea because screw the rich. Eat the rich? No. We hit them with an entire raw chicken. I have a lot more old characters, but I think I'll let you off easy for now. I just hit you over the head with a lot of nonsense and a raw chicken, and there's only so much one person can take in a day. Please also tell me about your old characters so I can feel better about writing complete nonsense and utter garbage and then calling them my OCs. I'll also definitely do another one of these, because if I'm honest with myself, I make these videos because they are just so stupid and they make me laugh while making them. I just can't help myself. Thanks so much for watching. I don't know why you'd like or subscribed after watching this BS, but hey, if you do, I really appreciate it and it really helps me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!